Welcome, welcome. I know it's an impromptu live, so I don't even know if people will be coming on. But I had to get this message. So if you are coming on, if you happen to be watching, just maybe tap in the comments if you can hear me okay, and if all is well. I was guided to come on today because the energies are speeding up, meaning that some of these messages are just really imperative to put out there. And as a seer and an oracle, which is if you haven't connected with me before, right? What that basically means is that I sometimes receive information prior to, right, to assist me in preparing for things. So that enables me to live quite easily because, like, when COVID started or isolation started, spirit prepared me for it. That prior to, right? Even though I didn't necessarily know it was happening, like be it the actual word pandemic, because it wasn't in my memory, if that makes sense. I was able to kind of clear my schedule, make sure by this point that I was fully online. So it was more of an easeful transition. And so why I'm guided to kind of share this today is because I've been joking a lot about oracle or seeing, right, in the past couple months, because I would see that the things that I was recording maybe 6 to 8 months prior, where no one listened, were like now relevant. Like I would show them again and people were like, oh my gosh, this is I'm receiving the information. So sometimes because of energy capacity and the ability to receive energy, and I'll explain that a bit, the messages, those guidance to allow you to prepare for fluctuations and waves within life can feel almost delayed. And that's why then we tend to kind of go elsewhere to get help, right? Meaning, and not just help, because help is important. I don't want you to think that you're meant to be here and doing this alone at all, right? The healing is happening within community right now and within opening up and asking for assistance, right? But what I mean by getting guidance is instead of you receiving the premonition, instead of you receiving the oracle yourself, right, from being in tune with Mother Earth, what is occurring is that things then seem like they're just being thrown at you, right? Like they're just all of a sudden you're getting these big shock waves of caca. And that caca could be from work, it could be from family, it could be from any different relationships in your life, as well as any different circumstances on a global level, a global scale, to the most finite personal scale. Okay. So then what happens is you feel lost. You feel like you haven't been prepared. You go into this kind of downward spiral and then check in on all these different resources that are available, right, on our social media platforms. And you get the advice that feels right. You get the advice that somewhat resonates. And right now, our capacity for resonance, if you are not in connection to your intuitive guided system, if you are not connected clearly to the vibration of the earth, it's off. So meaning what feels like it is in resonance, what feels like it's like you, or what feels when you're going, ooh, it feels right, right? Your gauge of what feels right and wrong to you is off. And it has nothing, I'm not trying to blame you as a person, and as an individual. It's because what is occurring right now within sound waves. My work is with sound and energy, of course. I'm first and foremost an energy conductor, transponder, transducer, however you wish. You can look up all those words on Google. But how I transmit and share the work that I and what I'm receiving with energy is through sound. So it's either through me sharing by voice, sometimes by words, if I need to write it down. But writing sometimes now is that's a whole other that's a whole other story. So or sometimes with just sound tones, right? So some of you might have connected to my spirit sounds, which is sound healing energy transmissions that help to clear and align your internal system, as well as guided meditations. You get it. You get the gist. So my work is with sound. So what I've been realizing, and so again, like I just want to share that for like the past 6 months or so, I've been running a circle that I've basically been giving away for free almost, because just to share that like support is really imperative to try to make that option available, right? And I know we're healing from capitalism. I know we're healing from supremacist systems and patriarchy and a lot of types of authority, all different ways and aspects that the authority code has been played within our society and played within your life. So it's hard. Do you see, it's kind of like the challenge right now is that it's hard to ask for help because you don't know, you're not sure if you trust the help, but then at the same time, you know that help is required to move through this, right? Because we are not alone. And so I've been kind of, it's neat. I was in nature today, and of course, nature is a very clear frequency, which means it, the energy of trees, why they are so protective, okay? And why if I have trees around me, thankfully, even though I'm in them, like on the outskirts of the city, and it would be great. Like I'm definitely, my plan is to move further out by trees, because why trees are so protective is that they ground energy, right? So meaning if there was an actual building that was made completely just of wood, with no metal, no nothing else, right? Just wood, like a log cabin, right? If there's something that is made fully of wood, the energy that is within that structure, so meaning, let's say if I come in there and that's my energy frequency, it will stay there, right? It will maintain the frequency without interference. So that is why it's a natural protector. So if someone is throwing energy or trying to manipulate by working with their energy, then there's no way they can move through that barrier. Hence why, if you're not around trees, I really recommend, and you'll probably see I always start with a bit of smoke. This is a really simple way of protecting yourself right now in your internal space, is get tree resin incense. It's such a beautiful gift from our tree siblings, and that honor different certain scents that have different protective elements. So different trees share different protective elements. Some clear the mind, some actually protect the whole space from any kind of toxicity. Some are incredibly protective on all levels. So if you ever have questions about different resins, I'm happy to share. But I usually put it in a container with some rock salt, because salt is also very clearing of energy, and then charcoal, briquette, and then I put the tree resin on. And it's a really effective way of clearing and protecting your home right now. My work has been with protection for a while, meaning energy protection, because of course, I too have experienced lots of trauma and lots of caca in the past that numbed me. Okay. And I want to make an emphasis on that, because one of the things with trauma experienced is a numbing effect. And that's really important to understand when I continue. So just take note of that. And of course, as chaos or crises continue, the trauma experienced doesn't necessarily now have to be like one big, massive traumatic event, right? Which it may have been in the past. It now could be small traumas experienced on the daily. So hence why the importance of processing what is coming up. And I'll explain why I've been doing all this. Okay. I'm trying to get as much information out, because I'm realizing that when I share my messages, when I share and connect to others, I am sharing by connecting and anchoring through the Earth's grid, right? The energy ley lines, and trusting that spirit will kind of connect to who is ready to listen, right? Who is ready to receive the call. And what I've been realizing, though, is that there's a bit of malfunctioning right now with that. And it has nothing to do, it's not that Earth is malfunctioning. It's not that the ley lines and the grids of connection, kind of like the natural internet, is malfunctioning. It's because of what else is being done on this planet that is almost interfering and trying very hard to interfere with the true frequency, okay, or true frequencies. So, and what I mean by that is you're welcome to jot any questions if you have in the comments in this live, as well as, of course, after, and I'll see how best to answer what comes. But okay, sound resonance. I just I'm going to give you that little type of diagram. I love to draw actually live when I'm sharing information, but I actually think I already have this drawn from some of my previous sessions with people. Yes. Okay. So of course, you know, we are trees, but you just similarly, if you sliced a tree open, right, and you saw all the rings of a tree, this is similar to kind of our energy frequency, right? So if this is you right in the middle, that's like your actual physical body, your energy frequency, of course, expands further than the physical body. We get that by this point, I think, because that's how you feel other people. If you come into a room and you're like, feel a little off or awkward, right? Or someone just like you don't get, or you all of a sudden have a reaction to, it's because you're picking up what they are sharing within these further fields from your actual physical body. So people don't actually have to be obviously right touching your physical form in order to connect, right? So now thinking of this, what happens, why intuitive guidance system is so important, and why it has been imperative. And I'm like, literally, if you are not doing these connective things by this point, if you want to live a life of more ease, the time is now. Simple. It has to happen. And I'll give you an example, because our intuitive guided system is our natural way of connecting to this same resonance, the same energy field of the earth, right? So if this is us, you, right? This is our body. Think also now that that is a microcosm of the macrocosm, which means this is very similar to what is occurring if this was the earth. And of course, this is the energy of the earth, right? So we're getting that, like the things that are in form, the things that are that you can actually look at and see that have a form to them, their actual life force, right? Their energy field, their inner working is much larger than the form. So when you are working in connection to the earth has a natural magnetic and vibrational field that will naturally wish to connect to our bodies, because our bodies are of earth. They are of minerals and water. So that of earth and water, right? What is of the earth? Our bodies are of it. So there's a natural connection, right? We are part of the ecosystem. Hence why plants, animals, trees, rivers, mountains, all of it, we are part of it, right? That is what we are all one with, okay? So in that knowledge then, if we respond to the call, we go, okay, I accept. Sometimes people use the word I surrender, right? That you completely, you're like, and it's a relinquishing of individual control, because you are actually opening to a greater connection that can support you. And as soon as you open that connection, which is what I've been sharing within my circles, within my Clear and Protect energy series, basically all my work this year has been guided to work on opening that connection to the earth and then assisting in the catalyzation. So assisting in clearing any of the gunk, the caca, the buildup of within our body systems. Our physical systems are feeling, right? Is our emotional system and physical systems are intimately connected. So by getting that connection, connecting to your first the earth, then on working on clearing anything that is blocking and inhibiting your capacity to feel clearly. Okay. And so now you're like, whoa, so trauma numbs me. And what does numbing do? It takes away feeling, so that you're just like a walking numb body, no vibration. So like this type of entity, and as we know, like it's shown even scientifically, like this stuff is not, this ain't woo stuff anymore. This is just is, right? It shows scientifically that when in fear, when in trauma response, when in numbed response, that energy frequency is very tiny, right? So like the energy that you are emitting from your being is like almost as close as the physical form itself, okay? And as you clear and get that flowing again, and you can look back on my Instagram, I shared in 2019, I was like, 2019 was slowly but surely. 2020 is about flowing freely. And what I mean by that is about getting your energy to flow freely, because in that freedom within, that will assist us to resonate and emulate that liberation and that freedom that is needed outside of us. But if we don't have that freedom within first, there's no way then we can get that like to like, right? Response. So always multi-layered messages. That's why I'm recording it. So if needed, you can listen to it on other occasions and write things down. Now, so the idea of this, of healing our emotional frequency is so important, because the clearer our energy is flowing with less buildup and with less process, without processing. So just think, okay, when you process an emotion, so it could be that you have an interaction with someone and you feel sad, or you feel angry, or you feel frustrated, right? There's a feeling that comes from some type of interaction outside of you, some type of dance between you and another, be it one person or many. And in that feeling received in your body, that feeling is a messenger, right? And so that feeling is sharing to you where potentially there is resonance in that message, which is why it was able to come into your field. And if you don't like it, if it's not making you feel free and easeful and joyful, then it requires clearing. It requires you to clear it. It doesn't matter who gave it to you. It doesn't matter who's it originated from. It does not matter. If you are feeling it, you have to clear it. And so then but sometimes what happens is that we're in a situation, maybe someplace in public, that you're not able to clear the emotion right away. Because yes, 100%, a lot of emotional clearing work is needed to be done privately, not performatively, right? There is no point of screaming at 50,000 people, which is sometimes what happens on social media, right? There's no point of doing that. If something is giving you an emotional response, by you screaming it at someone else, you're then just transferring it to someone else, right? Which is harm. And we're trying to get out of the harm cycle because we need to get out of the trauma cycle. We need to stop harming, and which ends up numbing. Okay. So are you still with me? Okay. Back to. So we receive something while we're outside, know that we cannot process it because we're around people and we don't want to harm them in the process. So we have to almost park it. We have to bank it, right? And you have to place it somewhere and make a note to go, okay, I have to go process. So emotional processing right now needs to be a daily practice, because especially if you're interacting with people right now, it needs to be a daily practice. One of the easiest ways to clear and protect from too much emotional interference is music and sound. So like whistling, singing, while you're outside, just kind of without having to talk to other people, is a great way of keeping that protection up. But so you'll have to kind of park it for maybe an hour or so, or until you get home, right? And then when you get home, that is when it's required to assess, to breathe, to do whatever your practices are. I have some on this YouTube channel. Please know, though, one of them is a spirit sounds on frustration. And frustration, that spirit sounds will bring it up, right? Because frustration, when you park it, it's hard to find again, because it's a very tricky and sneaky emotion. So what that sound session was to bring it up to the surface so you can feel it. And so when you feel it, you need to let it out. And meaning, be it like crying, be it singing, be it yelling, be it whatever sound needs to come out to release it. Be it humming, you can start with that, right? And water to amplify what you are clearing, and then let it go down the drain. Okay, so there's a lot of little techniques that I've just shared on how to clear emotions on the daily. Because why? Well, this comes to why the time is now and why I need to share this today, is that the energy of the earth has been healing for a very long time. It's very active now, meaning it is allowing what has been dormant, right? Which is our creation capacity it is now here, right? And many even ancient ones, elders, have been predicting this time for a very long time. This is not new information, even though some of us who also channel star teachers and star beings, angels, are also receiving the same, right? It's the same message right now. And it's that we are birthing a new earth. We are actually in the process of creation. Okay. And so in this process of creation, that means that obviously the energy of the earth, if it is in the midst of creation process, it must be at a very heightened capacity to allow it to happen, right? And of course, in birth, there's also kind of the caca that comes too. So hence why we're seeing a lot of destruction and a lot of things shifting and a lot of chaos. Okay. So because of this, the energy is allowing creation to occur at a very fast rate. It's sped up, right? So what maybe would have thousands of years ago created in a very long period of time, this might be like within a couple of years, which is actually, for like shifting things, quite a dramatic and fast, speedy time. And of course, it didn't start 2020, right? This has been building up for quite a while as well. So just like pregnancy, there was this incubation, almost pregnant period, until this activity is occurring now. So energetically, now you need to think. To create, there's three things. We're taught on a very base level. It's sperm and an egg come together, and there is a baby. So 1 + 1 = 3. There is, and in that code, we now also see that many people knew this code, while many of us were still forgetting it and not remembering our truth, right? And in that, they were able to use this code to create a lot of stuff that was beneficial for some and not for all, which is almost like a corruption of creation code, right? A corruption of creation. It was a way of seeing how to falsely do it, which of course, when you corrupt something, as you know, and when you try to like modify a law, and this is like a cosmic law, which is a creation law, right? It will, which was doing something for personal gain, it will have repercussions. And so we are experiencing some of the repercussions now. So don't let what is occurring right now to get you off. If you are connecting to and remembering this truth, and part of this message is like, you're like, I'm into this, I'm listening, right? Pay attention to that. Because listening, our ears are a direct connector to our heart. And so what we choose to listen to and what we choose to not listen to is connected to that most inner part of ourself. And sometimes we have blocked our heart, right, from trauma experience, which has also then inhibited us from listening. I was thinking, it's like a lot of the people that really need help might not ask for help or not listen to help. But then those that are like kind of parts of them are screaming for help, right, will kind of latch on and attach and then not want to do the work. So there's many parts of ourself in this energy field, right? So the importance of the intuitive guidance system is to align you, is to bring you into an equilibrium and bring you into a balance within, so that you can move forward in better preparation for what is to come during this birthing process. Because just think, if the energy now is very, very magnified for creation, then the people that may have been choosing to utilize this kind of false creation code, which I'll call the authority code, right? And I'm not given the formula because we're not needing to add any more of that in, right? Then that can happen very fast right now. So right now, it's not that energy is good or bad. Energy is power. And so now the energy is amplified. It is our responsibility to take back our systems, to take back our power stores, to take back our power structure, so that that authority code is not siphoning off our energetic capacity. Because the creation code, and this is not new information, as I said, this has been shared from elders, very ancient ones, passed on from many wisdom keepers of all different indigenous types of tribes, as well as coming from star teachers and from the stars and from star beings, right? So this is information that is coming from both, be it from the earth or from the stars, okay? It is, and you are able to receive it depending on what you might have first most access to. But it's important to have access to both systems, because the creation code is not just masculine and feminine equals baby. It's not gendered. It's not about a physical form. Now that, remember, the physical form, the thing that you see is the smallest expression of actually what is. Masculine and feminine energy are a signature that is within each and every one of us, okay? There are two different ways that our energy flows and works together, right? Because we are of form, we are of earth, as well as we are of stars. So we have, as human beings, this incredible capacity to connect to both the tools that is form and what that shares us, and the tools that are of light and what that shares to us, okay? And so in order to create, the only way to access true creation is for the good of all, because, of course, in form is the truth, right? And we would be going against our truth, which would lead to repercussions, which is that we are one with all the other living beings on this planet, be it plant, animal, human, river, mountain, as I said, right? So that is kind of the fail-safe way to do true creation. So the more that are attuning and connecting towards their natural physical state and this connection to this rhythm that is abundant, that is love, then more can kind of shift into birthing something that will be of ease and of love, and allow us to continue to co-create things that bring us joy to all. Lots to say. I need some water. So hence why I have been offering the circle. There are many circles to join. I'm not saying mine is better than. This better than, less than BS is part of the authority code. Debunk it whenever it comes, check it, and start to process why that is. I've been offering this circle so that we can connect, because in community of doing this work, right, we can start to shift the balance, the scales, tip the scales into utilizing the vibration, and rectifying it in comparison, basically, and to shift the distortion of the energy frequencies that are occurring right now. And so back to this idea that yes, certain, let's say, if you've been able to create just for the good of you for a really long time, and now you're realizing that more people are waking up to this lie and this untruth, and they're realizing that, wait a second, I don't want you to harvest my energy. And so I am going to step out of the trauma cycle, the oppressor-oppressed cycle. And stepping out of the trauma cycle means that I am now going to not allow my body to be numb. I'm going to actually allow my body to reverberate and connect to that vibration, because vibration, energy frequency, is the other part of the code. Feminine energy is vibration. Masculine energy is light, is that direction, that spark to make something happen. But that feminine energy is what makes anything create, right? That's the thing that it does, right? So basically now, just think, if you're numbed from all the trauma that's coming, and you're now isolated, and you're afraid of everything, and this is pitting you against the people that you care about and your communities and everybody, right? Everybody has now become the enemy. And you now are like, I am all alone. Woe is me. This sucks, right? So what are you going to go and seek for guidance? Because your body's not sharing it with you. You'll go and get all this more additional fear mongering, the media, right? Of sharing all these things. And because this is showing what light is. Light is knowledge. Light is that mental information, right? And so now you realize, in a very clear vibrational body, something that is flowing freely, energetically, and then you can have a clear mind to actually put in the thoughts that are required. You can create. You can create something that is for the good of all, be it abundance, freedom, love, joy, any of those beautiful things. If you are allowing that numbness to continue and to choose to still live in polarity, to live in thinking that you are better than someone else or that you are less than someone else, that you either need to adhere to someone else's authority or that you need to give someone else your authority over them. If that is still within, that is what needs to be checked stat, because that is the way the frequencies are distorting, because as naturally you are in physical form. So naturally, even if you don't choose to connect to the earth, you are still connecting to the frequency, right? It's like a radio channel. You still have access to some of the vibration of the earth, some of the energy. And so in that understanding, then your fear or numbness or working still within the authority code will just naturally create more of it. And will actually also just think then, if you're living in a city or a place where there's a bunch of people that are spread out, that are still numb, the energy frequencies of these kind of like, well, just think all these EMF waves and the waves of all our technology are man-made vibrational waves, sound waves. So naturally they're like, we've made this person numb. We've made a synthetic wave of vibration, which will simulate that type of ability to create. And then we'll give you a whole bunch of caca to think and believe. And so now we got you believing, we got your mind, and we also are working on the body. And so now we can continue to create the distortions that are required for that authority code to continue. So you're at a juxtaposition right now. And one, I advise if you've listened so far, please share this. Please like it. Please try to pass it on, because a lot what I've been finding of when I'm very true, meaning like sharing stuff very clearly about what's going on and not trying to like feel soft and gentle in the message, which can be then, you know what I mean? Then only certain people will receive the codes. But in this clarity, this is kind of accessible to many, that it's harder to share because of those distortions in frequency. So as much as I might be like calling and connecting to those that have that true resonance within their heart and have been doing this work even a little, right? That it might get like 3/4 of the way there, and then it hits a massive fear pocket, right? And it gets jumbled, and it might not actually get to sender. So a lot of right now messages are almost getting and accessing people. And so I'm finding, it's sometimes getting maybe 1/3 of the people that I've actually connected to and knowing are receiving, or you know what I mean, are meant to receive this message. So anyway, so any help to actually share messages right now is really imperative. It doesn't take anything. It just means if something really resonates true to you, share it and let your communities or other peoples that are close to you know, because then that way we can start to kind of bypass the roadblocks per se, to sharing some of these messages that are residing in that true frequency. Now, of course, though, that I have to, of course, bring up is like, it's my words, right? It's my sound. So, and maybe you don't know me and you're like, should I trust her? Or, you know, I don't know her and she's telling me not to trust, right? So this is the challenge, is because as you see, me sharing, going, listen, the time is now to heal your connection to the earth, to heal your connection to your intuitive guidance system so that you can receive gentle and easily integrated messages from within that can prepare you to move through what is to come, so that it won't seem anymore super shocking, super scary, right? So that when you see any bits of fear come up, to quickly process them, right? And to know that it's showing something that might need to still clear from your vibrational system so that you can step. It's not about being fearless, right? It's not either or. It's about stepping beyond fear, about seeing what is beyond polarity, what is beyond the binary. So I've really tried to simplify my offerings for this time, because the work is like, it's not that I have to go like, you know, bells and whistles, this, and this. It's either if you want support to build a deeper connection to your vibrational capacity so that you can heal from this authority code and move past and beyond fear, the circle, right? That it's you know, we meet weekly. We do meditations to clear the mental caca, those thoughts that we're needing to clear out. I do sound healings to align those type of spirit sounds, as well as in full moon ceremony, it's a larger gathering and a larger work dependent on what is moving through that full cycle, that rhythm where we really connect to the energy of the earth as well. So we're seeing what we need to clear as well as what we may need to clear on a collective. And that is open to all genders, FYI. And then if you have been doing this work for a bit, because a lot of the people that work with me tend to be healers, right? Be energy workers, or have been meditating for a long time, or are very cognizant of what I'm sharing today. And you're probably just like, yep, I know this. Okay, well, if you are in that spectrum and going, I know this information and I am really connected to my intuitive guidance system, then the call to you is I was literally like, guides, my soul, which so means my body, which means earth, as well as my star teachers were like, this is what you must do. And there was parts and times when I was like kicking and screaming, going, really? Do I have to? Oh my gosh, this is intense. It's going to be like the deepest work I've done. But they're like, the message was going, you're ready. And as well, the time is now, and there are enough people that are ready. And so this is my Sacred Union mentorship. And this is for 6 months during the kaka that's going to be fall winter. Okay, I warned you, the time is now, because there's going to be some stuff that's going to be increasing. And if you're not knowing how to do the work of processing and all this stuff, right? Circle. If you're doing it, we need to get into community, small groups of people that we actually do truly resonate with, so that we can start to actually work on co-creation. Yep, which means we will be moving through potentially some of the last dregs of kaka, which mean moving beyond the binary, which means looking through our relation and wounds to our gender identity, to sex, procreation, relationship, intimacy, all of that. That is like the big stuff, because then it's moving through those things that might have been so buried deep because they have had a ripple effect from many, many times within human form. These authority codes have been going on for a very long time, right? Just think of how long patriarchy has been. So that is 6 months. We meet bi-weekly to actually work on clearing those deeper, really more intimate wounds, so that we can start to actually do what we're meant to do, which is create, co-create for the good of all, freedom, liberation, love, and joy. And so if that is of interest to you, if you are, and it was neat because I'm part of an amazing council called Warriors of Light, which I'm so grateful for them being in my life to assist me in feeling that I have the strength and capacity to step forward into these roles, right? That we're being asked to now. And I got today because sometimes light, as I said, like the messages of light might seem good or bad. So it's not necessarily that I want to just say that light is good. I'm almost saying this is the warriors of truth. If you are ready to step in as a warrior of truth to work and with and in honor of the allness, the oneness that is this earth vibration, as well as with our deep ability to draw in higher frequency light codes to assist us in birthing, in this birthing process. So that is what I had to share today. And as you can see, it's neat when certain messages come, the speed even of how it's shared might be faster. And that's just depending on the energy frequency it is coming from. So I am now slowing down. I am now kind of like feeling more of the rooting effect and connection to the earth and the trees, which means to share with me that this message is done. And I have to just say, this is so neat. I tuned on today, Toronto time, 1:22 p.m., and I'm closing this at 2:12 p.m. if anyone's interested in numbers. 1 or 11 is creation number, and 22 is divine feminine. So, and of course, 212 as above as below. There's a lot of fun things with that. But anyways, I'll leave that for another day. This was a quick message, and I'm looking, it's almost an hour. Thank you for listening. May you be safe. May you be protected. If you are feeling that you are still within the fear capacity, or like in just the fear mindset, I have a protected and safe meditation on this website, on YouTube, that works very, very effectively to combat that. And yeah, if you're ready to really start to shift and heal and clear, and get back into your natural rhythm, I'll leave the links below for both the circle and as well for, you can just contact me directly if you are guided to connect and get more information on the Sacred Union mentorship. I will not be putting that as a direct link, okay? Because that does require me to have a complimentary connection with you, so we can check in on alignment. And if you are of the 12 that are part of that co-creational journey that is embarking and starting on the 22nd of October. I share with you some transmissions. Allow yourself to ground your energy, ground your frequency. Visualize your roots, visualize that anchor drawing from your being in towards the heart of the earth. May you receive, may you receive, may you open to the healing vibration that is our Mother Earth, that is this planet, that is that divine feminine charge, that of vibration of earth and water, so that you can clearly receive as well that light and what has traveled within the air that is of masculine, to bring more of a co-creation for this new earth. Aho. Thank you.